Handling red flags effectively means respecting your own boundaries, staying aware, and taking thoughtful actions. You're welcome to this episode of Finding Love. I am Grace Renner. Finding Love is a relationship and marriage show that instills the right foundation for marriage with the understanding that marriage is God's idea. It is a show for anyone who's ready for the journey of marriage or already married and desires to do marriage the way God has designed it. Because as I said before, marriage is God's idea. So you're welcome once again. Now, thanks to all my returning subscribers. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe right now. Also, like my video, share it so that more people can see it. And the more you like it, the more YouTube algorithm will show it to more people. Okay, and then leave me a comment. I love your comments. Now, if you want me to give you a shout out, please let me know in the comment section. Again, today's shout out is to my mom, who always watches all my videos and leaves me a comment. Her name is Mrs. Victoria Diboma. Thank you so much for always watching, supporting, encouraging me. I love you. Thank you so much. Now, if you want me to do the same for you, do leave me a comment in the comment section saying, Grace, do give me a shout out. Thank you once again. Now, over the past 3 weeks, we've been on the red flag series. Now, we started the first 2 episodes by taking personal examinations, asking ourselves, am I healthy enough for a relationship? And then we moved on from there. The last 4 episodes have been us highlighting several red flags in different categories, of which I share them into 4 categories: psychological red flags, mental red flags, behavioral red flags, and emotional red flags. Now, I took my time to highlight several patterns of red flags. However, I didn't get to highlight, I'm very sure I didn't get to highlight all the red flags in the world. And I know that people go through different experiences in their relationship, different toxic experiences in their relationships. So please, if you didn't hear me mention your situation, it doesn't mean that what you're going through is invalid. No. So if you're unsure, maybe you're confused, or you've lost your place in the relationship, or something feels off with this person you intend to, make a life partner, please, if you're not sure and you want to have a personal consultation with me, my phone number will be in the description corner. Okay? Yes. So yesterday we started talking about how not to handle red flags. Today we'll be talking about how to handle red flags if you're already in a relationship or in marriage. Okay, so I'll be right back right after this break. Please do not go anywhere. You're welcome back. Now, I said after the break we'll start talking about how to handle red flags if you're already in a relationship or marriage. Our anchor scripture for today is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 25. It says, it is a trap for a person to say carelessly, it is holy, and after vows to make inquiries. Sometimes we agree to certain commitments. We say, yes, I do to people without doing our due diligence. Okay. And we end up with toxic partners. Now, whether you're already married or in a relationship or intending to go into a relationship with somebody and you're experiencing certain things like the red flags we've been addressing, all hope is not lost. And that is why we're doing this today. Okay, I want to teach you how to handle these red flags. With number 1 being acknowledge what you see. So if you've started to notice certain red flags, okay, don't dismiss your gut feelings. Don't dismiss what you're saying. Acknowledge what you're saying. And this is why I talked about, in the first 2 episodes, are you healthy enough for a relationship? And so because we're unhealthy, sometimes we can't really tell if we're in a toxic situation. Okay. Now, but if your gut feelings have been troubling you, telling you that something is off, or you're confused all the time, or you're seeing certain things that you feel are not right in a relationship or marriage, do not dismiss those feelings. Do not, dismiss your gut feelings. Do not dismiss those feelings. Do not act like you're not seeing those things. It's time for you to begin to acknowledge what you're seeing. Also, gather more information, okay? If it's a one time thing, maybe it's not a pattern, okay? But if it's a repeated thing, then it's a pattern, then it's a toxic situation, okay? So, as you have observed, take your time to gather more information, identify the patterns, and if you have noticed that it's recurrent, then it is a toxic situation. And what do you do next? It's time to have honest conversations about it. Sit with your partner or your intending partner or your spouse and talk to them. Okay, let them know about these things that you have identified, that you have seen that are, somewhat bothering you, that you have seen as red flags. Watch how they handle the situation. Do they take responsibility? Do they apologize? Or do they play the blame game? Or do they dismiss your feelings? Now, a response to the situation would give you a clue as to the depth of the situation. Number two way to handle red flag if you're already in a relationship or marriage is to watch for accountability. Now, a genuine response will involve acknowledgement, apology, and the consistency in change. Okay, they'll be consistent about changing. Okay, it means that there's a willingness to change. Taking responsibility also is a good start. So if they acknowledge your feelings and they take responsibility for their actions, it's definitely a good start. But if they dismiss you, it means that they're invalidating your feelings and they are willing to change. Okay, if they play the blame game, of course they're manipulating you. That also shows that they're willing to change. Okay, now you want to be firm, you want to be assertive, you want to stand on what it is that you can see and what it is that you will no longer take going forward. If it means giving them an ultimatum, if that is what the situation requires, okay, you have to stand your ground. Watch for accountability most importantly. If they're being accountable for what they have done, then, or if they're being accountable for these things you have highlighted, it means that they're willing to change. It means that there's a possibility there. But if you air your concerns to someone who claims to love you and they dismiss you or they act like they do not care, then their love is questionable, isn't it? Okay, so this is what you want to watch for. Number three way to handle red flags if you're already in a relationship or marriage is to set clear boundaries. Okay, politely but firmly set clear boundaries and be firm about it. Okay, respect your own boundaries. This is very important because if you set clear boundaries and you do not stay consistent and firm with your boundaries, it sends a message to them that they are not to take you seriously. Okay, weak boundaries says or suggests to them that this is not to be taken seriously. We can go ahead with our bad behavior. We can go ahead with putting, this person through whatever it is that they claim that we're putting them through. So you want to make sure that you are assertive and most importantly, you are consistent with your boundaries. Now, so let's take for instance, maybe you have a partner who speaks to you in a derogatory manner and you have communicated to them that you do not like being spoken to that way. Now, the next time they attempt speaking to you in that manner, you walk away from the space, from that situation. That sends a message to the person that I have said I will not tolerate being spoken to like this, and this is me walking away from the situation. Or maybe you have a partner who comes home very late at an ungodly hour, and you have told them, you know what, this is an unhealthy time to come back home to your family. Stop showing up by this time, and they keep coming back late. Now, what you need to do is stop waiting up for them. Okay, shut down, go to bed. Let them come back home and find you already asleep. This sends a message that you will no longer be a doormat. You no longer take such an irresponsible behavior. Okay, so you want to set clear boundaries politely, but be assertive about it, and you be disciplined enough to maintain your stand. Okay, to respect your boundary. Number four way to handle red flags in a relationship or marriage is trust actions over words. Okay, if there is no improvement in their behavior or it gets worsened, believe what you're saying. Okay, do not rationalize it or make excuses. Okay, hope doesn't take away toxicity. It is the willingness to change and the conscious effort to change. So if you're seeing that the person is not improving or not willing to improve, it might be that that relationship has come to its bust stop. Now, let me share a personal example. I remember when I and my husband went for premarital counseling, one of the things that the counselor said to us was, if you have studied your partner, or have you studied your partner enough to see that you are okay with the characters that you're seeing are whether bad or good, because any character that you're seeing now, and you cannot put up with during marriage, it's better that you call this quits. But if you're sure that you can put up with any character, because marriage doesn't change anybody, okay, it only further shows your bad character or your good character. So if you have been with this person long enough and you've identified certain characters in them that you cannot put up with in marriage, this is the best time to put an end to it. But if not, when you get married, hope you know that they will hardly change. Marriage will not change them except they are willing to change and by the help of God. So this is what I'm saying to you. So if you have found yourself in a situation where, you're in a toxic situation, a toxic marriage or a toxic relationship, and you can see that they're not improving, I'm asking you now, is this something you can live with? And by asking you, I'm saying, is it, I hope it's not something that is detrimental to your health or to your children's health. Now, if you have checked well and you're saying that even though they're not willing to improve, okay, this is something I can put up with. Of course, with your boundaries, no problem. But if beyond your boundaries, this is something that will cost you your life, cost you your children's life or safety, and you cannot put up with it and they are willing to change, it might be time to reevaluate your position in that relationship. It might be time to evaluate if the relationship deserves, going further or calling it quits. Now, number 5 way to handle red flags in a relationship or marriage is be ready to walk away. Now, red flags that threaten your life, your sanity, your well-being, your children isn't worth it. Isn't worth staying in a relationship over. Choose your life, choose your sanity over such a situation. Okay, people have died managing physical abuse. People have died, or contracted deadly diseases managing a cheating partner. People have lost the next generations, letting their children suffer with them in traumatizing situations. Okay, so you do not want to be this person. Let me give you an example. Maybe your husband or your wife is someone who is cheating. You've spoken to them about it, you've approached them, and they have said they would stop. But you have realized that they have refused to stop. Now, the best thing to do to protect yourself from any form of disease is to stop having sex with them. Why? Because if you keep having sex with them and they are randy, they might bring the disease back home. Now, why am I saying this? I can share with you 2 stories. Like I've experienced firsthand 2 couples who have died from a situation like this. Let me share their stories. Now, the first one, when they really got married, yeah, the man was poor. They were both poor. They didn't have anything. As God started to bless the man, I started to have money. He became promiscuous. He started to cheat on his wife. He got AIDS. Now, thankfully, the first child they had, the first son they had, they had him when things were not all that great. So he didn't have AIDS. Now, the wife discovered she was infected with AIDS when she was pregnant with the second son. Okay, so after she had the son, she managed to stay alive long enough to have this child, but she wasn't allowed to breastfeed the child, of course, so that she would not infect the baby. Not too long after the child was born, the father died, and not too long, the mother died, leaving behind a toddler and a newborn. The second story, another man, he was physically abusive and he was cheating on his wife. Now, you would always see his wife looking so battered. He was always beating her. Would try to help, most of the time, but he would beat her to the point where her face would be so swollen. Now, and he was also cheating, sleeping with prostitutes, sleeping with random people. And eventually he moved out of the house saying he had found somebody else. Not too long after he moved out, he got infected with HIV/AIDS. And after he found out, his mission was to come and infect his wife. Now he came back to the house, apologized to his wife, made peace with her, and slept with her. Now his brother, who was a very good person, found out that he had AIDS, and in his bid to saving his wife, he also found out that he had moved to back to his wife. So in his brother's bid to saving his sister-in-law, he ran to the sister's house and told her, "Do not believe your husband. He has AIDS. That's why he has come back. He wants to infect you. Do not sleep with him." And she said it was too late, that she had already slept with him. Guess what? A couple of years later, the man was so sick he died. Not too long after, the wife died as well, leaving behind four boys. Now, four boys, the oldest of them was barely 20 years old, and the youngest of them was barely 10 years old. It wasn't even up to 10 years. I don't remember his exact age, whether it was 6 or 8. You see? Now, so these are two true life stories that I have experienced firsthand. So, my point is, if this red flag or red flags are going to cost you your life, choose to stay alive. If they're going to cost you your children's future, choose your children's future. If they're going to cost you your health, your sanity, please choose yourself over this relationship, over this marriage. Now, nobody goes into marriage with the intent to get divorced. Okay, a lot of people are believing, for the best, for love, for protection. But if yours is the opposite of this, where your life is being threatened, your health is being threatened, your children's futures are being threatened, it might be time to leave. Living sometimes is the healthiest choice. Living sometimes is the best way to walk in love. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. Please, if you need any form of counseling, maybe you are already in this kind of situation and you are torn between what choice to make, please, I am a phone call away. Just book a session and we'll talk things through, okay? My goal is to see to it that you are safe, that you are healthy, and that your relationship is serving you the way God will have it serve you. That is the reason I do all of these things that I do. So please contact me if you need my help in any way. All right. Thank you so much for this. We have come to the end of the red flag series. From next week, Thursday, we'll start talking about how to build or rebuild trust. Okay, of course, building trust is the foundation of every relationship. I mean, of course, trust is the foundation of every relationship. So if you have lost it, I'll teach you how to rebuild it. Okay? So it's going to be an interesting series. This is something you do not want to miss. Thank you once again for watching. Please share my video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share my video so that more people can see it. This will save lives, it will save marriages, it will save people. Okay, please share my video. Like this video so that YouTube algorithm will show it to more people. Also leave me a comment. I want to see your comments, and if you want me to give you a shout out, I'll be glad to do so. Just let me know. Grace, give me a shout out, okay? And then the last two announcements before I let you go. I'm here every Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Thursdays and Fridays for finding love, and Sundays for code for easy living. Please watch my videos, support me by sharing, liking, commenting as well. Thank you. And lastly, Singles Hangout 6 is here. And guess what? For this edition, we'll be introducing a new show which I'll be starting called Heaven's Match. It's a matchmaking show. So the major part of Singles Hangout 6 will focus on matchmaking. So if you are looking to find love or to find your life partner, this is an event you want to be at. We'll be matchmaking people. Okay, so you should come. And if you cannot join us physically, we'll be doing it also online, virtually. Okay, so check the description for that to see how you can be a part of this life-changing experience. Okay, also, W.H.O.S.E Outreach is here. It is the charity arm of this ministry. Okay, W.H.O.S E Outreach stands for Widows, Helpless, Orphans, Sick, and Elderly. So if you know anyone who is in this category who would love to benefit from what we're doing, it should also register. And if you would like to sponsor this project, maybe be a partner or be a sponsor, whatever way or capacity that you would like to partner with us, we will be so grateful. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Once again, I'm Grace Renner. I'll see you on Sunday and next week, Thursday and Friday. Bye for now.